Hey, welcome to your Shores Prepping. I'm your host, Greg. A long time ago, before Facebook became so politicized, there used to be chat rooms, and I don't know if there still are or not. I got rid of Facebook a long time ago. There used to be chat rooms for prepping, survival, SHTF, and everything else like that. And so many of them were taken down and deleted and prohibited and everything else. But before that happened, one of the most interesting yet scary topics was, where will your personal integrity be in an SHTF? And so many people had a variety of opinions and say, well, we can't rely on the military because they'll become marauders. They'll become, the military for the chief in the area or whatever, And that's very, very possible. You have to look at this and say, okay, I have military training. I have the experience. Why not put it to good use to feed my family, to take care of my people at our expense? Where will your integrity be? Never mind my loyalty to God, country, and family, or the Constitution. I'm in it for me. I used to be a police officer. I used to be a fireman, used to be an EMT. Whatever your situation is, where will your personal integrity lie when things get tough? You already know, just by listening, just by seeing, just by hearing, people already saying, he has too much and he needs to give more. You know where those people's integrity is going to be. It's going to be in it, what's in it for me, and you need to sacrifice for the betterment of the community. You have too much. You need to not eat so others can. You know where their integrity will be in an SHTF, a national crisis. But what about the military? What about the police? What about the EMTs? What about the Congress, the Senate, the state representatives? We already know that they have little to no integrity anyway, because they'll talk out both sides of their mouths while the hand is in your pocket stealing your money. So you can't really count on politicians to be loyal or true. So you say, okay, what about the conservatives, the people out there preaching God and family and everything else? Well, they will be tested as well, and not everybody will be upright. I'm not even sure, to be honest with you, if things get that desperate, if things get that hard, if things get to where, hey, I may have to steal from a hospital to get medicine to save someone's life. Would I be willing to do that? Yeah, I'd be hard pressed not to, because you care so much for that person. Would I try to find alternatives? Absolutely. Barter, buy, sell, trade, whatever it is. Say, donate your time for the medicine you need that's in short supply. Can you do that? Absolutely. I would be 100% in favor of doing that first before stealing. Absolutely. But again, you have to ask yourself, what line will you cross or not cross in an SHTF? One of the most talked about questions, and I'll pose this to you on my channel, subscribers. What will you be willing to do? Say you have a small orchard and apples are ripening up, or pears, or whatever fruit it is, or your garden, your tomatoes are looking wonderful, but it's an SHTF and you've worked super hard for it. But somebody comes up and says, I'm starving, my family's starving, we got run out, we have whatever happened to them. Are you going to feed those people? Are you going to shoot someone that is stealing the eggs from the chickens you've been raising? What will be the consequences for taking an apple and eating it? Will you say, okay, live and let live? You had the apple, move on. Will you say, wait a minute, you just took food off my family's plate? There will be consequences, you have to work that off. Or will you just say, hey, Every man for themselves, man, woman, and child, I don't care. I have the combat experience. I know what to do. You don't stand a chance. It's mine. What are you going to do? That was one of the most talked about topics in the chat room. And so many people say, well, I'll do this until you're pressed into it. Until you're pressed into it. Until you have to face reality. One of the realities is we have a serious, serious problem in our neighborhood. Heroin, prostitution, thievery, trespassing. We have some homeless idiot claiming that this house that we live in, that we're paying for, that we own, she lives here. I don't know who she is, but she's here every night. How do we know that? Because we see her hiding out in the woods, sleeping in the dirt, doing whatever. She's been arrested so many times, can't even count it. When she gets out, she's right back here. What will you do in that situation? I'm forced to go out into the night with my equipment, gun in hand, and run off these drug users. What are you going to do in a truly SHTF? What are your options? What are you going to do? Well, first off, don't be unprepared. Desperate people do desperate things. Don't be a desperate person. Have yourself ready. Know what to do. Have plans set up. Know how to defend yourself. Have your property ready to defend or leave. It's going to get tough. It is going to get very rough. The economy is going to tank. They're following the Carter playbook for failure to the T, and then some. Gasoline prices are going to skyrocket. Food prices are going to skyrocket. If the railroad goes on strike, shortages, empty shelves are going to be rampant. If the money currency dries up, which is what they're doing by raising interest rate, and jobs are being cut, which they are doing, Peloton saying, hey, you got 6 months before we shut the doors. Facebook saying, hey, we're cutting back. 500 people now, maybe 1,000 later. People are cutting jobs because of this incompetent administration. Things are going to get tough. Let me know what your personal line is, what you say you'll be able to do, and what you actually may think is going to happen. I'm very curious on that. Talked about that 15 years ago, and that still hasn't changed. Thank you for liking and subscribing. I certainly do appreciate you. Thank you. Please continue to refer this channel. Leave your comments. As long as they're brief and to the point, I have no problem. Get yourself right with God. Get submerged in water. Baptized in the name of Jesus Christ only. That's a priority. That is a priority. Greg out.